What's happening, people? Welcome back to another episode of Park Lane Podcast. I'm your host for today, Harry Scarfield, will be steering the ship, and I'm joined by two fellow co-hosts. Firstly, Callum, didn't think you'd be on last minute special guest. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I thought I wouldn't leave you guys on your own because I can't trust you two in Luke's absence. So I thought I'd come in and get some level-headed control in here. But no, I'm all good, thanks, mate.
Harsh but fair, it's fair to say, but it's great to have you on. Winnie, how you been doing?
Yeah, all good, mate, all good. I'm sure this is going to be a slightly depressing pod compared to the previous weeks, but, you know, we've got a lot to discuss, no doubt. But other than that, I am okay.
Yeah, great to hear. Yeah, thank you very much to everyone. We will get through your comments shortly, because there's a lot of people that come in early. But firstly, Winnie, talk to us about Manscaped and why you should buy their stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So as you can see around the outside, we are proudly sponsored by Manscaped. If you don't know who Manscaped are, what they do, they offer a complete range of male grooming products. We were kindly sent, or Luke was kindly sent, like a really big, massive performance package, which included the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Groin and a body hair trimmer. If you've got a date coming up, any kind of occasion, or if you just like to be nice and groomed, close your ears, Harry. If that's what you're into, then that's fine. You've got that. There's the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer as well. I think Luke might need that, to be perfectly honest. I've actually seen him in real life, and I think that's what he needs. You've got Soother as well, which is aftershave lotion for when you have finished your business. And there's also some anti-chafing ball deodorant, which is a strange concept to me. But obviously, if you get that performance package, you'll get a nice, comfy pair of boxers and a toiletry bag to go with it. So if you want to buy all of that and all of those amazing products, then please use the code ParkLanePod for 20% off. So that is ParkLanePod for 20% off. And thank you, obviously, again to Manscaped for sponsoring us, and hopefully we can continue to have this great partnership.
Let's hope so. So thank you very much, Winnie. Go check Manscaped out. So I'm going to go through some of the comments now, because this is what I call commitment from Jay, who's in at 5:19. That's just under 2 hours before the show starts. Jay says, good evening. Poor performance. We're all missing with a Porro and a Doggy. So unfortunate after starting to get our squad depth back. Think we need to look at buying Neto in the summer. Yeah, we will get onto Neto. He's not happy with Emerson. And he also thinks that Davis and Emerson was a ridiculous decision, and even mentioned potentially playing a back three. Big up to Barney as well, who's also early in there in the chat. Back every week. Big up Johnny. Yeah, whatever. We be woo. Big up everyone. So many people. Thomas, Hypertomic. Got Jasmine. Got Thomas. There's a lot of people in here, so big up to each and every single one of you. We will go through your comments throughout. Love it. Throughout today's show. But let's crack straight into it. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and get to 1K. If you are listening on any other podcast platforms, don't forget to give us a follow and a 5-star review. Callum, I'm going to come to you first. Before the Wolves game, I want to know your thoughts on the lineup, because there's 4 changes for us. Let's see if I can remember them out of the top of my head. Emerson came in, Davis came in, Basuma came in, and Song came in. Were they all the right changes for you?
No, just no. Emerson for Porro, I can understand, but I don't think that the idea of having Davis in at left back did us any favours whatsoever, mate, to be honest. I would have rather seen Van der Ven there with Dragusin and Romero swapping out for maybe inverting to go either side of centre-back. But, yeah, I thought other than that, it was what I kind of hoped for. But Richarlison up top was dog shit yesterday. He really was. I would rather have just had Son and Werner.
What's happening?
What is going on? Full of surprises. Dave, how are you?
What's happening, boys? We good?
All good, mate. All good.
Good, you?
I'm good, mate. I'm all good.
Yeah, great to hear. And Dave, to bring you in on this then, what were your thoughts on the starting 11? I know it's easy to kind of say now, but before the game, were you happy with the lineup? What would you have changed at the time?
Everything. No, to be honest, do you know what? I don't want to be too hard on Ben Davies. He didn't have a terrible game. He was all right. But when you take out, this is what I'm saying about the overreaction of Tottenham fan base, and I've always been guilty of being one of them, but I've slightly got a different approach this season because I think everyone just needs to take a deep breath. We're missing Porro and Udogie. You know, they are a huge loss, and Davis and Emerson, they can't do what Porro and Udogie do. They can't drift into the central roles properly. They can't attack with that same pace, that same aggression that Porro and Udogie do. So it was always going to be a struggle, which is why if I'd have known what the team was, I'd have changed my score prediction because I didn't fancy us at all. When as soon as I saw they were both out, I was like, I don't fancy us at all. But I mean, we'll come on to the goals, I'm sure, because I've got a lot to say about Wolves' first goal. But yeah, the lineup, you know, it is what it is. We you know, I mean, the football's been absolute dog shit lately, but we just need to take a breath because, like I said, I tweeted out a few days ago, or yesterday even, and I said that we lost our talisman. Everyone said we would be mid-table. We'd be a mid-table team without Harry Kane. I was one of them. I was like, 10th is a great season because of losing Kane and everything else, and new manager and everything and everything. But we are 5th as it stands at the moment. 5th could be good enough to get Champions League this season. 4th, we know is good enough. We're on the coattails of Aston Villa, who I don't think will last the season. So just take a deep breath, go outside, smell some daffodils, and get over it. It's a poor performance. It's been poor, but it can't stay poor forever. The only way is up.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. I couldn't agree more. I think context is important. Pep Guardiola's first season, they finished 3rd. Arteta with Arsenal and Jurgen Klopp with Liverpool, both respectively, finished 8th in the first season. So context is important without 2 very key players yesterday. And it's 1 loss. I spoke to 4 people that wanted Ange out, and they were deadly serious.
Oh,
yeah, I know. So I'm concerned, but yeah, patience.
Do people not remember what it was like under Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte? Do people not remember how toxic it was to be a Tottenham fan and how the whole fan base?
Don't forget Stellini as well. Frank Stellini and Nuno.
The fan base hated each other. We were so split. But once we've got a guy who's actually uniting us as a fan base, people are just so reactionary that, you know, they can't see the leaves through the trees, can they? That's the problem.
Love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, the thing with me is the same people who were asking for a rebuild are now going, why aren't we winning trophies now? I was like, well, hang on a minute, it's Andrew's first season. Yeah, we should have won trophies earlier. I get that. But you can't come in. I've had someone tell me that, why haven't we won a domestic cup this year? I said, well, this is Andrew's first season. Yeah, but I was like, Andrew, you were calling for a rebuild. So I think sometimes context is very, very important. So there you go. But Winnie, I will come to you. What were your thoughts on that lineup before the game?
I mean, it was exactly what I expected, to be perfectly honest. Unfortunately, with the injuries to Porro and Udogie, I don't know. Obviously, some people have been calling for Van der Ven out there. I don't know, you know, how much of he is as a left back. I think we'd miss him too much in the centre, to be perfectly honest, because you know the amount of cover that he does. He can cover at left back, but I think we'd be underutilising him. So I mean, and other people are calling for a back 3, and I mean that just doesn't. We've tried that, and it didn't work. So we need to try something different. And what we're doing now is different. Yes, it's not going to work every week, but nothing works every week. Do you know what I mean? And the thing I'm calling out, people are calling out saying that we've been found out. But I also the caveat to that is that repetition. With that will come, like, we'll reap the rewards if we just carry on doing what we're doing. But in terms of the lineup, it's exactly what I expected. And like Dave said, I feel sorry for Davis because he's been a ridiculously good servant for this club. Played in a number of positions, and I don't think he had a particularly bad game. Yesterday. He didn't. It's just unfortunate that because he's on the pitch, the same with Højbjerg, they become scapegoats because the fan base don't like them. No. But what I will say is the reason why they do that is because they do have negative performances.
Yeah,
and more often than not. but it doesn't mean that they're not dependable, because as we've seen, Højbjerg, when he came on at the Etihad or whenever it was, he done well and he done his job, and it's the same with Davis. But the problem is they have too many bad games to remember the good ones, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
But it's the exact same lineup as I suspected, and if I'm honest, wing backs aside, I was very confident when I saw the lineup.
Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that defensive clearance by Davis in the 93rd minute?
I was going to say, did you see that? Yeah. What's that about?
It was great. It just wasn't in the right fucking box.
That header, mate, all day long, he should be putting that in. I think, if he gets on target, it's a goal. It's literally as simple as that. It is unfortunate because he has been a good servant, but he doesn't suit the system and the fullback role that Ange wants to play. So, do you know what annoys me and what irks me is you watch Reguilon at Brentford.
Yeah.
Like, he's flying at Brentford. He would have been perfect for us, now. But I don't understand why he doesn't get a look in. I find it's all a bit strange.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I would have personally kept Reguilon and moved on Sessegnon. He seems to just get injured. No club's going to buy him, and we spent too long probably trying to worry about the price. But we will move on. 42nd minute, Wolves at the lead. Corner that came through João Gomez. For me, I could just sense the goal was coming. I said it again, I think a corner or two before they scored the goal. Hang on, it's coming here. They're 2 or 3 corners in a row. We're stuck. We can't get out. It just felt we couldn't take our chances. But Winnie, would you agree that the goal was coming? And did you see it coming?
For the whole of the first half, it had been coming, mate. Completely. We were like, it was like boys versus men. Like we were getting so outplayed, and I don't know why. Like, look, I think. I had this conversation with my dad, and I think, do you know what? We have to accept. Like, I can't remember the last time that we lost in the league. Like, obviously, I'm not saying it was ridiculously like so far in the past, but you know what I mean. This is our first loss in some time. I know we haven't been convincing, and we haven't been, pulling any trees up, but we've been grinding out results. The whole Brentford, the Brighton, we've been doing it last minute. Okay, fair enough. But this was the first time where, and I kind of expected that we would get found out, and we probably wouldn't be, we wouldn't grind out a result as we have been previously. But the goal was coming, mate. We had been massively outplayed up to that point. Neto was just ripping our team to shreds, and they're a very good side, Wolves. To be fair, they're very well drilled. They're like the intricate passing, all the stuff that we kind of want to see under Ange, and we do see. But it just seems like they kind of found us out a little bit, and I don't know if there was too many people kind of like off the boil, people coming back from fitness, coming back from tournaments and stuff, and I think it just didn't click. But that's okay. It's okay that it didn't click, because it's not going to click all the time. But
can I just say, when you're done, Winnie, on that, I want to talk about that first goal when you're finished.
Yeah.
I'm raging about it.
Yeah, I'll say my part about it quickly, and that's the fact that it's one of the shittest goals I've ever seen a team concede. And then I will pass that on now.
Do you know what I don't understand, right, about that goal? Is João Gomez walks into the box, nobody looks at him, nobody comes up to him. He moves about 3 yards, steps forward. The ball corner comes in, and he goes, don't heads it in. There is not one challenge on him. He doesn't feel a Tottenham player, nudging against him or even fighting for the ball. The guy just literally walks into the box and goes, cheers. What happened to that Italian dude we had who was like defending set pieces? Why did we get rid of him? Because at the moment, we can't defend set pieces to save our lives. It's like we got this horrible zonal marking. And a few weeks ago, Ange, they were being praised for their set pieces and things like that. And he was like, we've got Ryan Mason doing it now. So maybe that explains it. Ryan Mason is now in charge of the defensive side of things. But the reality of it is, he literally turned around, walked into the box, free header into the goal. That's Premier League football. I've seen better defending on the Sunday League. Harry, you play Sunday League or whatever it is. It's one of them things where it's very, very simple to defend. All this zonal marking bullshit. I can't stand. Pick up a man, choose your man before the game, stick with that man throughout the whole game, make it as difficult as possible for them to get a header onto the ball. We don't concede that goal.
Yeah.
The thing is, as well, Gomez hasn't fucking scored for a year. He hasn't scored since last fucking February, and then he gets 2. He's a bang average player for even Wolves. He's probably the equivalent of playing for Sheffield United. That's the thing. And the problem is that then he rocks up with a man of the match performance against us this time. And he did it against us when we was at Molineux as well. We make him look like a good player when he's really bloody not. That's the thing.
Yeah, we were lucky. We were lucky yesterday. We were so lucky that it was only 2-1. Because I remember Sarabia missing the chance, and, you know, there was chance after chance after chance.
Hwang should have taken his chance.
Yeah, I don't know how he missed that. You know, it's one of those ones where I think, you know, Ange wants to stick to the way he plays, fine. But the reality of it is, if you haven't got, when we have injuries, if you don't have the players to come in and play that same system, you know, what's the point? You have to try and change it up slightly. And that's where I think, you know, or get the players in which do suit that system. So it's a difficult one. We got Radu Dragusin sat on the bench, who's an absolute beast in the air. You know, Van de Ven's not bad in the air, Romero's not bad in the air, but to not get near a player who, as Callum rightly says, is fucking shit. Like, you know, how has he been able to run the show against Bissouma, to run the show against Maddison? Do you know what I mean? To absolutely take the ball by the horns and dominate our midfield. It's, you know, if I'm honest, Bissouma looked a bit leggy yesterday. He wasn't great. He looked a bit leggy. Son probably had the worst game I've seen Son have in a very long time. Again, it could be fatigue. He's just, you know, come back from the Asian Cup or whatever it is. But yeah, I just think that Ange needs to take some responsibility, not turn around and like Conte excuses like, "Oh, I've got a magic wand." We don't want you to have a magic wand, mate. All we want is for the team to come off the pitch and us go, "Yeah, we lost, but fuck me, we had a go."
I can't say that yesterday. For me, we lacked urgency. We lacked everything. Like Luton, you see, right? Okay, they also lose 3-1, but they're moving the ball quickly. They're putting the ball in the box. They're having a go. They're giving it absolutely everything. We, at 2-1 down with 10 minutes to go, are spending about 20 to 30 seconds on the ball per player for moving it on. That's not a team that wants to win a game. It's simple things that people say, "Oh, yeah, but how do you break down low blocks?" You take throws quicker. You take corners quicker. You take free kicks quicker. You move the ball quicker. And you
get the ball wide.
The ball more. You get the ball wide, you utilise the flanks, and you cross the ball more. It really isn't hard. And when we finally done that against Sheffield United, we scored 2 goals.
Did you guys see as? Oh, sorry, mate.
Go on, Callum.
Yeah. Did you guys see that Emerson was the most culpable person of being so narrow yesterday? It was unbelievable. He kept going into the 10 position. I don't know whether that's what Ange wants to do, but literally would run straight into the middle, do dog shit, and then not track back and all that. So literally, he was a running donkey yesterday.
He's not Porro. That's what you got to remember. He's not Porro.
Yeah.
Porro can do that job where he can drift into that 10. The same as you, Doggy, they can drift into that midfield position, but they're athletic enough to be able to get back on the cover. And, you know, that's huge. The reality of it is we don't have the players to come in for those 2 fullbacks that can do a good enough job. I don't hate Emerson. I used to not be able to stand him, but he filled in really well at centre-half. He did a very good job when we had injuries. But when you're bringing in Emerson and Davis to replace, in my opinion, one of the best fullback pairs in the Premier League at the moment, for what they do in terms of drifting into them 10, creating chances and everything else, you're always going to struggle. Always. And especially when you got Pedro Neto on one wing, you got Hwang, you know what I mean? They're going to run rings around them. And this is why I said, if the score predictions would have been the day I found out the team, I would have predicted the Wolves win.
Can I just say quickly, sorry, I didn't think, and at the start of the season, when I knew our strongest 11, I genuinely didn't even consider losing our fullbacks to be our biggest weakness. I thought, okay, if we lose a Bissouma and Bentancur, if we lose a Son, if we lose a Romero, genuinely, our biggest weakness is losing our fullbacks. And I did not have any idea at the start of the season that would be the case. But they're literally they're so pivotal to our system.
Yep.
And like we said, we saw Emerson drifting into the middle, and he's not a ball playing footballer.
No, he's not.
He's limited at what he can do, and unfortunately we saw that. But yeah.
But for me, I don't want to question necessarily Ange, because I think he's the right man for the job. However, I look at that and go, that for me, there's just no benefit, unless I'm missing something. There's no benefit of playing inverted fullbacks against a team that's going to play a low block, especially when you're without both of your best fullbacks, because Davis got caught too high up for their second goal. For a start, and there's nothing, because they sit behind the ball. Against your Manchester Cities, for example, who come out and play, or Arsenal's that come out and play, it's different, because you'll find spaces and you'll be able to utilise and stretch the play, utilise the flanks as well. But against the team that are playing a low block, there's no benefit. It just compacts the midfield and makes it easier. For me, Wolves had it easy yesterday. I think they could have played 90 minutes another 4 or 5 times, without an ounce of sweat. They had it easy. There was no last-ditch tackles, and so I'm a little bit concerned. I was annoyed at the time. I still am. But it's not the result for me. It's the performance. But also the overreaction is frustrating. But
you're spot on, though, Harry. You are absolutely spot on. It's all about culpability, and it's like I said about I love Ange. I was a big Ange caller when we were linked to him, and me and Luke were banging the Ange drum right from the get-go. But when it comes to things like this, he has to hold his hands up and take responsibility instead of turning around saying, "No, I'm not a magician." Sorry, boys, I lost you. I don't want you to be a magician. I don't want a magician. I want somebody to turn around and say, "You know what? I've got to change certain things. I've got to change the style of play. I've got to change, this, because it's like, we can play this constant gung-ho football, which is great when we got the players to do it. But when you don't have the players to do it, you have to adapt, and you've got to be adaptable to who you're playing against. That was a mismatch all day long. Neto, Hwang, Emerson, Davis. It's a huge mismatch. Yeah. So you change it. You change the way you play. You change the style of play to match up, to try and nick a result, because you're going to struggle without the players that you're missing. But our problem at the moment is players aren't turning up. Maddison, since he's been back from injury, has not turned up. Son didn't turn up yesterday. Richarlison he looked like a pigeon. It was literally. So the way I kind of look at it is, unless Ange has to hold his hands up and say, "That's on me," he has to be adaptable. And at the moment, he's not showing that he's adaptable. All we're getting at the moment is the same gung-ho football, which, it's good fun to watch sometimes. Tell you what, though, it weren't yesterday. It was painful to watch. It was painful.
And Dave, I can tolerate being vulnerable at the back and conceding goals if we're going to give it a go, be exciting and score goals. But apart from your Burnleys and Newcastles, we actually don't score that many goals. And the XG was higher for Wolves, and we have 71% of the ball. We have 3 less on target as well. It's really.
We didn't have a shot on target. We didn't have a shot in the first half.
No.
That's awful. It's one of these. I can't put my finger on it, but. Like I said to you, Richarlison was horrendous. Son was horrendous. The first half, everybody was awful. It was the most boring game I've ever seen. I was bored to tears. And once Wolves took the lead, I know Kula got an early goal in the second half, but we're always going to score. But the reality of it is we didn't deserve anything from yesterday. We didn't deserve a point. We didn't deserve anything. Yeah, that's a fact. Wolves deserved everything they got, and we deserve everything we got.
Yeah, well said. I couldn't agree more. But to get back on track with the game itself, you kind of led me on perfectly there, Dave, because in the 46th minute, Dejan Kulusevski with a perfect start, really quick, perfect way to start the half. Callum, at that moment in time, he's someone like me thinking, do you know what, we haven't been great, but we can turn it around and get 3 points here. The goal happened so early, that wasn't even back in my seat. So what do you make at the time, Callum?
Yeah, I definitely thought that Ange has probably given them a bollocking at half time and gone, you need to step up and all that. And I was hoping that from that we would actually take some confidence, because it weren't even a great goal. It was poor defended by Wolves, and Sarr just let it go through his legs, which should never have happened. Kulu didn't do nothing for me yesterday. Even that. Right. Weren't really him. It was just literally him just getting a fluke. And I was hoping they would kick us on, but it didn't fill me with confidence, because Wolves just looked like they'd just come out. They probably weren't even ready to take their seats yet. That's all it was. It was just us coming out a little bit quicker. But nah, it didn't fill me with any confidence whatsoever, mate. And I was just looking at the stats. The stats don't do us any favours either on shots, block shots, all of that. It was just such a dire game.
It was.
And he's not even here anymore.
Oh, fuck. I need to see if he was playing for Bayern tonight when they lost to Bochum 3-2.
Yeah, Harry Kane's gone to Germany to get himself a free trophy, and he's not even going to get that.
No.
You want to know the really funny thing? Is he might get top scorer, but you know what the award is for top scorer in Germany? A cannon.
Oh, for God's sake.
Not even joking.
Oh, good.
Well, someone might be regretting that decision. Who knows? But I agree with you guys on Kulusevski, and I don't want to kind of be negative, but even his goal, right? Yeah, okay, he went past Craig Dawson, who's getting on a bit and is probably the slowest player on the pitch, and slots it through Sarr's legs, who leaves his legs open. Great goal. But even that, his touch is a bit heavy, etc. But I just look at, I told myself I wouldn't go on too much of a kind of rant type thing, but I look at that, right? I go, Craig Dawson, okay, he's physically strong, aerially strong, he's got the experience. That's why he's in the team. He hasn't got pace. So why bring Werner on early, or even when you do play, bring him on, put the ball in behind. Because Adrian Nunes has a track record of giving away free kicks and penalties. So does Jose Sarr with balls over the top. It just made sense that we didn't do it once, not once. That is just so frustrating for me. But Winnie, we'll come to you. The perfect start to the half. Again, were you like me and thinking we can win this?
We've seen it how many times this season where we have an absolutely dire first half. And then we come out the second half like a completely different side, all guns blazing. And I mean, I would say we did that. We didn't really do it. I think it was just we caught Wolves cold. And there was a couple of, his little drag past Dawson wasn't convincing. It was more of a missed touch. And then obviously the poke through the keeper's legs was, some people would call it skill. Obviously, it's very fortuitous, whichever way you look at it, to get it through the goalkeeper's legs. So, yeah, do you know what's really annoying me? And it's not, obviously, it's not just the whole playing crap first half and playing good second half. It's the fact that when we equalised, and whenever we've been behind in a game and we equalise, for some reason we should be in the ascendancy, and we should then. I mean, who was it? We scored all those quick fire goals against
Brentford. It was Brentford, weren't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, where we just kept scoring and scoring and scoring, and that's the Tottenham that we like to see, and that's the Tottenham. If we do that, and if we apply ourselves in that way, we can do that. But at the minute, we seem to score and get this equaliser, and then sit back, and then start inviting more pressure on. So
it's like Conte ball.
I was happy, obviously, that we equalised, but I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I was confident, because I knew that we would then start regressing again and become the side that is back on the back foot. So yeah, it was a bit fluky, but I knew what was coming still.
Sorry, I just cut across you. Just when you think about it, Ange didn't make his subs until the 71st minute. We'd been chasing the game by 10 minutes then, and we'd already started capitulating for another 7 before that. From about the 53rd minute, Wolves were already in the ascendancy, and his reaction was to throw on Werner, Johnson and Bentancur. Well, Werner and Johnson, I would have said, should have started from the off, to be honest, because of the pace that they do have. That's the thing. But the only reason I say that is just purely the pace aspect of it. Nothing else. I don't think they're better players than Richarlison or Kulu or anything like that. It's just purely the pace. And like you was alluding to with Dawson, being the fact that he's an old guard centre-back now who's probably closer to being in a wheelchair than playing 90 minutes all the time, is one of them. But the fact that Ange was very good with making his subs in the first half of the season. Now he's got everyone back. He's sticking by it. It's the stubbornness which is coming into it now. And to make his subs 3 at 71, and then knowing that we're playing dog shit for another 14 minutes, then throw on Celso and Højbjerg, the game was already gone by then. So, I mean, if you're going to do it, try and make an impact earlier than where he did.
I didn't like the fact he took off Maddison either.
We'll get on to subs. Hang on, save the conversation on subs. We will come to that later. When we've gone through all the goals, don't worry, we will definitely get onto it. Dave,
do we have to talk about Wolves' second goal?
Very sorry we do. For people who don't know, because it did end 2-1 Wolves, sadly. But David, we'll come to you. 63rd minute, Yao Gomez scores again. I mean, like Callum says, apart from his neat one-touch passing, I don't know really, what he offers this game. I've seen a completely different side to him. Dave, what do you make of the goal? For me, it's awful defending, or was it just a quick counter-attack for you for Wolves?
Davis caught out of position. Is the first thing, and we'll score. That's all I've really got to say about it. It pissed me off so much, to be honest. It's one of the, again, the defending was horrendous for the second goal, just like it was for the first goal. We've made João Gomez look like Zinedine Zidane, and the reality of it is he's more like, your local Sunday League footballer. I don't get the hype. It just seems to turn up against Tottenham, or we let him turn up. At the end of the day, our midfield yesterday should have dominated their centre midfield, without a shadow of a doubt. So for me, Davis caught out of position, but he didn't have a terrible game. But it was back to the point that Winnie says that the problem when you get with Davis and Højbjerg is they may not have a terrible game, but the things they do wrong are so noticeable, and they stick in your mind because they're memorable moments. Davis missing that chance, him getting caught out of position. That's what you're talking about, other than the fact that he had a fairly solid game. But for me, it is what it is, and I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
To be fair, Dave, did you see when Emerson got skinned for the goal as well? Because Emerson was playing I think he dropped into the left centre-back position for it, and he was the spare man running all the way back. He was tracking, but he was tracking not the ball or the man, he was tracking the cameraman that was running along the other side of the fucking pitch.
You know what it reminded me of, right? Have anyone ever been to the dog tracks?
Yeah.
They got the bunny on the side of the track. It was like Emerson was just chasing the bunny. Like, literally, that's all it was. It was awful.
But the thing was, he was tracking him all the way along, and then he drifts out, and I think all he had to do was just stand there and stand Neto up for the goal. And he didn't even do that. He just ended up on his arse, and then it got squared to Gomez, didn't it? Literally.
Callum, it felt like Emerson was racing Neto. It felt like they were in a race the same way who's going to get there first. Then Emerson
they were both chasing the fucking bunny, but it turns out that Neto actually had the ball instead of the fucking bunny, so it was all right. But Emerson,
what I don't get right, that's happened, right? If I'm not, this is not saying no disrespect to Emerson. Oh, I gave myself twice.
Huh?
Oh, I didn't think that's got. I thought I gave myself twice for a second. I'll figure that out in a second. But anyway, what I was going to say is that for me, and it's no disrespect to Emerson, when the ball's cut back, I keep an eye on Gomez. And I'm thinking, why is no one with him? Okay, Neto's probably going to do Emerson in terms of quality difference. There's a big gap. Why is no one bursting the gut to get back? And when they do, why is Van der Ven standing here like that? I don't know what he's waiting for. Looks like he's waiting for a boat or something to get on. I don't know what he's doing. But he needs to look around and wake up. Basuma as well. Does all of this to get back, then goes, oh, too late now. And he's going like that to everyone else.
He was poor. He was poor yesterday.
He was shocking. He was really bad. So, but we will get onto the subs now. And just recently, obviously, as we know, been questioned over his changes and in-game management. For me, it definitely is reasonable. I think it's fair. And on Saturday, he brought on Werner, Bentancur, and Johnson in the 71st minute for Richarlison, Sarr, and Basuma. For me, that's fine. This is where it gets annoying as someone who likes Højbjerg, because in the 85th minute, he brings on Højbjerg for Maddison, then Lo Celso for Emerson. I love Pierre, as you all should know by now, but to see out a game. Not when you're looking for him. No, I know, right? I haven't made it obvious. Don't worry. I've kept it undercover, a bit like your special guest today. But Angie as well, Callum. But you look at Maddison and go, okay, Maddison for me is one of the worst players on the pitch. I'm going to be honest with you. He really frustrated me every time he got the ball. He slowed things down. But out of anyone on that pitch, you said to me, Harry, who's the most likely in a Spurs shirt to unlock that defence? We've got Maddison, even if he's not 100%. So you keep him on for that reason. It's like Liverpool, right? They're losing the Champions League final, but you take Salah off. You just don't do that. You keep them on in case you get that one moment. Players like that with real quality, they need a moment. Haaland, you'd never take him off unless he's injured.
What if we'd got a free kick on the edge of the box, with a minute to go?
Yeah. What do you mean, Dave? We're some Royale. With Royale, what are you worried about?
Harry Kane would have flown back just to hit the wall, wouldn't he? That's the problem. I mean, that's what happens.
But that's the thing. It's like what you guys are saying about where he brings on Højbjerg. If you're going to bring on Højbjerg, you're literally saying, right, we've conceded this game. We're just going to say, oh, God, Jesus Christ, Johnny, for fuck's sake. But yeah, so what if you throw on Højbjerg, it's literally going to be, right, we're going to just preserve our goal difference now. So instead of us conceding and we score 2 more, we're just going to not concede 2 more and all that. It's literally you're throwing in the towel, just saying that, yeah, Wolves, you can have this one now. We still had, how much extra time was it yesterday? Like 10 minutes on top of that. So we had 15 minutes left on that game. And he brings on Lo Celso, who's far from match fit at all, and then throws on Højbjerg, who might as well just not even be there unless you're going to do it.
Can I predict something? And this is what I think we're going to get a drubbing very soon. I think we're going to get spanked by someone like a Liverpool or someone like that. We're going to come up against someone like that, but even Arsenal, I hate to say it, who are going to put 4 or 5 past us. That I can feel it coming. I can see it coming. We're kind of in that moment. So
we've got Villa on the 10th of March, mate, at Villa Park.
Even Villa could do it.
Villa killed us when we played them last. That's the thing. They should have been 4-5, 6-1 up against us. I mean, H, weren't you at that game at Villa Park?
Yeah.
So literally. It's coming. I mean, we'll probably get tanked by Palace on the 2nd of March and all that. That's how dog shit it is. They can't even decide if they've got a manager yet or not. They literally feel bad about Hodgson being in hospital that they haven't announced their new manager yet.
Get Glasner in, will they? Glasner's sitting there like, what's going on? Like, we've got a job or not. Spurs King for me. That's a great point, by the way. That's spot on.
Yeah. That's why I brought it up. And for people who can't see it and are listening on podcast platforms, Spurs Kings TV, big up, because obviously I'm a host there. They say his subs have been questionable all season, even in his first 10 games. Yeah. Arsenal away on top of 2-2 and takes Maddison and Son off. There are quite a few examples of this. And I respect that Maddison's not up to full fitness, but I get it. If we're playing in Europe or we've got like Chelsea, we've got 3 games in 8 days. We haven't. We don't play again for 2 weeks. If Maddison's not fit enough to play the whole game, they just don't play. If for me, he's on that pitch, he's fit enough to play. So I'm not having that excuse. But we could still be playing now. And I honestly don't believe we'd score. I think we'd be 4-5-1 Wolves, and that's what worries me. And that's quite a strong team on the pitch. So yeah, it does worry me. But Callum, before we do kind of go into winning and get his thoughts, what would you have done? Because it's easy to look back now, but at that time, what would you have done? Look at those changes. Tell me what changes you would have made, because that team ultimately on the pitch wasn't good enough to win the game.
I'd have bought Werner and Johnson on definitely a lot earlier, to be honest. Maybe 65th minute. I know it's only 6 minutes difference, but in football, minutes make all the difference. So
I
would have bought Werner and Johnson at half time.
Do you know what I would have done if I'd have been Ange? I'd have made all 5 subs and I'd have bashed someone on the head, so I get a concussion sub as well, because we were that shite that nobody deserved to be on the pitch in the second half. So
if you smash Højbjerg over the head on the subs bench, does that still count, or is that just having some fun?
But that's the point. In that first half, Vic made a couple of good saves, but that's his job. But I can't really point out anyone that I went, "What, that ain't a good first half," because they didn't. It was shocking. So, in my opinion, 65th is too late. What he should have done was dragged them in at half time and gone, "Your shit, get off. Let's put you on, give you a try." Because the reality of it is I know we talk about Kulu, we talk about he's not as good or whatever else as Johnson and Werner. One thing Johnson and Werner do really, really well is track back. Really, really, really well. They do the defensive job very well. So it just goes to show yesterday, the second goal, for example, prime example, players quite out of position, no one tracking back. I think if the reality of it is someone like a Werner who go on.
Dave, just to add on to your point as well, another good thing that Johnson and Werner do is they know how to use the width right. They stay wide and then come in at the final moment. Whereas Kulu and Richie and even Son always cut in. They always invert. They always cut in onto their preferred foot and go for goals straight there and then. Whereas Werner and Johnson know how to stay out wide and all that. That's what we fucking needed yesterday compared to Wolves strangling us into submission. That's what it was.
I'm going to shut up now because Winnie has said nothing in ages. Winnie's like,
I'm enjoying it, mate. Don't worry.
It's interesting. But before we get to Winnie, what I will say is I put out. Oh, wait, I know. Sorry, I'm going to wait even longer. I'm going to wait even longer. I put out a post at 1-1 saying that for me now Wolves are in a position where they would have taken a point, I think, at the start of the game, but they're coming out and playing. This is the time to bring Johnson and Werner on because you can stretch them. There's no point bringing them on when they're 2-1 up and sitting in. They're still inverted fullbacks. Again, they were only useful when a team comes out and play because otherwise you congest the midfield, you just get in the way. So this doesn't make sense. So we missed that opportunity. Winnie, what was you done throughout the whole game with subs and when? This is your moment.
No. I just, to be fair, it's silly because obviously I'm just going to echo what everyone said because it's what we're all thinking. They needed to be made a lot sooner, and this is the first time. He's too busy shaving his balls. That's what it is with his new man. No, what I will say is this is the first time where obviously we've questioned Angie's subs previously, but the caveat for me to that was that he, in my opinion, he had no real subs to make. He had a Skip to bring off the bench. He had a Brian Hill to bring off the bench. Whereas now this is the first week where I looked at our bench when our team was announced. I looked at our bench and I saw Brennan Johnson, I saw Lo Celso, I saw Bentancur, I saw Dragusin, I saw even Højbjerg. I know obviously he's got his limitations. However, as an option to come off the bench, as we said before, to see out a game, it's good. This is the first time we've had really, really good options. And this is the first time I will criticise him. His subs were poor. I say poor in the sense that that they were the right subs. I wouldn't have took Maddison off at all because he is our Harry Kane right now. He is our Harry Kane right now.
Bollocks!
You don't take off your best player at the time. And as we said, as we've alluded to, if there had been a free kick on the edge of the box last minute, and Maddison's not on the pitch, then what do you do? It's not a fatigue reason anymore. And I know that obviously Maddison has been a bit poor recently, but again, as H said perfectly, good players like that only need one moment, and it could be a moment where he had a shot during the game, which was he kind of cut across it and into the far post, and it only just narrowly missed. So a little bit further down, that's going in. So I must admit his subs were poor, and they needed to be made a lot sooner. Maybe not as drastic as half time, but definitely for me, 55th minute. Even when we got the equaliser, that for me could have been a perfect time to go right. Let's just make changes now, and let's just push on even further. And I also want to say, Thomas, we did see your fan art, mate, and we really, really appreciate it. So obviously, anything else you wanna do or you want to send in to us, please.
Just as well, tag me and I'm happy to share all of it, Thomas. I think you showed me something before, but I bet your artwork's very, very good for sure. But Spurs Kings TV, I'm assuming Marlon says, I don't think Werner Johnson makes a difference. This is coming from a guy that said Vicario can't work on his own catching. He says, Werner played last week and we played the same. We didn't move the ball quick enough. We were lucky against Brighton and Brentford.
He makes a good point there, though. He makes a good point there because we don't move the ball quick enough. But it's not about Werner or Johnson. What I was talking about in terms of yesterday and why I said Werner and Johnson should have played was simply because we are playing Davis and Emerson at fullback. We haven't got Udogie and Porro. So with Davis, you need someone who's going to be able to get back quicker and to cover quicker. Sonny likes to play up and doesn't, score goals pretty much, doesn't he? Whereas if you have a Werner and a Johnson, for example, they will track back. They will do the dog work as well as the attacking work. So, yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those ones. But yeah, I do agree with you that we do need to move the ball quicker. We are absolute trash at the moment.
It's very concerning, but we've got 2 weeks to kind of work it out. Part of me wants to play as soon as possible. to kind of put it right, but that isn't the way. Winnie, I'll come back to you. Why aren't we starting games quick anymore? Is that concerning to you? Because at least like you look at Sheffield United, or I don't know, you look at Brentford, Brighton. At least we're ending strongly. We're not ending or starting strongly. Why is that?
I don't know. It's almost as if I don't know if like the honeymoon period's over, and Ange is now in a point where I don't know. Like there's obviously I've saw people on Twitter saying that we've been found out, and I don't know how true that is yet. But I just think that I'd like to think that it's because we've got a lot of people returning from injury, because a lot of people looked leggy very, very early in the game yesterday. And I don't know if there's no real reason. It's not as if we're playing, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So I don't. In reality, I don't know why we're starting.
We're not in the FA Cup. We're not in the Carabao Cup. We're not in Europe. We all want to be in Europe next season. We want to be fighting for these competitions again. The same fans that go, "Oh, we should be winning these trophies," are the ones that go, "Oh, they need a rest." Well, you can't have it both ways. So,
but what I will say is, again, Dave's alluded to it. Our fan base is so reactionary. It's incredible. This season, genuinely, anything above where we finished last season is a very, very good season. Yeah. And where did we finish last season? Was it 8th?
8th.
So anything above 8th this season is a great season, and it would take a massive capitulation for us to not do that. We are way, way above where we need to be right now, or where we even imagined we would be. But not only that, we've got a lot of young players tied down to massive contracts, like Van der Ven, like 2029 or whatever it is.
Doggy,
30.
That brings me on to a question I was going to ask you all, actually, Willie, and it brings me on quite nicely, but judging by what you said. Now, I one answer, I don't want you go around the houses, but if we don't get Champions League this season, judging by the fact we're out of all the cups and we've only got the league to focus on, would you view it as failure? Go you first, Willie.
I'll go first. No.
I'm with you, believe it or not, Harry.
Yeah, no, not a failure for me. I think context is very important. We lost our best player at the start of the season, and myself included, were like mid-table. Some were even worse. Some bookies put predictions on us to be even further down the table in a relegation battle. So it was that serious, and nobody really laughed at that at the time, because Postecoglou was a risk at the time. We didn't know whether it'd be him or not. Someone like me, I didn't know that much about him, and he won the treble at Celtic. So yeah, it wouldn't be a failure for me, Dave. But Callum, what do you think?
No, I'll follow what you guys have said. Yeah, can you hit?
Wake up!
Yeah.
I think you're just slow responding.
Oh yeah. No, I'll follow you guys.
Bit like you are an FPL responding, but go on, crack on. What you saying?
I'll follow what you guys are saying. I think if we finish anywhere above 8th, I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There we go then.
Cool.
There we go. So, the question I'm going to ask you before we get to the score predictions table, before we do an FPL roundup to wrap up today's show, I want to know where you think we're finished at the end of the season. Dave, you kind of put out a similar question to extent. So, put your neck on the line now. Where are we finishing this season?
5th.
Reasonable. Winnie?
6th.
Oof, ouch. Callum?
Yeah, I'm going to go 6th as well.
Are you? I'm going to go 5th. I think we'll still finish above Aston Villa, but I think Man United at this moment in time are very strong. We myself included, I wouldn't say necessarily laughing at them in the first half of the season, but going, what is happening here? But again, context is important. Without their best players, and they look a lot stronger now. But we will move on to the score predictions table, because there is no changes. Nobody got the score predictions right. Or
I would have done if we actually predict it when we know what the team is. Let's be honest. I think we all would have done.
Excuses.
We all would have done.
We would have. But this is what the table looks like. Callum, predictable at bottom. Sorry, Callum, we're 14 points. I'm next at 17 points, level with Dave. I don't know why Dave's ahead. I have to have a word with Luke like that. I'm not having second from bottom. But Winnie is second. Yeah, absolutely. Winnie is second with 21 points. Luke is top. Jammy with 24 points. We need to get him. I can't have him winning his own competition, if you like. But I know a lot of you follow your own league, so let us know in the comments below where you are at with it. But it's still, apart from Callum, obviously doesn't win anything, but the rest of us, it's very open to winning it. So sorry, Callum, you're excluded from this, but it's
why I've got this Spurs mug, mate.
The only thing you'll be winning.
Spurs this is the only cup we'll be winning this year, so fuck it. There we go.
Yeah, it's quite sad. Now on to FPL updates. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's a shocker, right? Firstly, I triple captained Haaland, and he scored 6 points, didn't he? He didn't get a goal or assist, so that's the first thing. Adebayo, I bought him in. I took away 4 points like I always do to bring him in. He got injured, didn't he? Lovely. And all my subs are injured, by the way, as well. All 3, so that means absolutely nothing. Pinnock, I bought him in. Didn't I spend 4 points again? I was really excited that I did because I thought, he plays 2 games and he occasionally gets goals. What has he done? He's injured. Done exactly the same with Diego Jota. I'm surprised I haven't done the same with someone else, and there's no points on the bench, so I've had a shocker. But I will go on to what the FPL podcast league looks like. I'm surprised I haven't moved down a place. I'm not going anywhere, that's for sure. Dave is top. It has updated. Dave is top, who scored 50 points this game week. On total, 1,431 points. That is impressive. Second is Sham Mohek. Third is Al Malone. Fourth is Invincible. And then we're going to go all the way down to 8th, where Winnie is. Luke remains in 9th as well. All the way down. That's harsh. All the way down to Luke in 9th. And
let's go all the way down to you, H.
Yeah, we go all the way down to 14th.
All the way. But
Callum, well, we know how this goes. We go second to bottom from Callum.
He's not bottom.
Thomas is half the gap. Yeah, he's not bottom, but if he's, it could be by the end of the season. Callum's on the lowest out of anyone with 22 points this match. So let's have a look at his team. He's got Ramsdale in there. We know he doesn't play. Livermore got 1 point. Lascelles doesn't play, so what he's doing in there. Yi Chamati again from Everton. Never heard of him. He's got Saka on his bench with 15 points. Pau Torres has even scored 2 points on his bench. So I don't quite know what he's playing at. But that's Callum for you. But it's a really interesting league. So let us know if you are following how many points you've got. Thomas, Johnny, I know the likes
I'll
of you
follow. Harry, I am getting a backache carrying this podcast on my back in that FPL though. You boys have got to step it up.
Very funny.
Yeah.
I was up there at one point. I don't know what happened to
you were.
I was never up there, was I? So I can't really. I have my own league. I've got 105th Barney. Ouch. No, you're 106th now, mate. Sorry, it's just updated. 106 out of 106. But you were the latest joining. I'm now 85th, and that's quite bad out of 106. My own league as well. Yeah, what's going on there? Oh, I hate FPL. It gives me headaches. But guys, how have we done an FPL this week? Obviously, Callum, we know you. Winnie, how you been doing?
Say that again, sorry, mate.
How you been doing with FPL? How are you feeling? Like, what's achievable this season?
Oh, mate, I don't even know. Like, I'm going to be honest. I was hot. This is the same with me for all FPL. I am really invested in it to start with, and then I just slowly dwindle off and forget about it. And I forget to make changes. I forget to do all the necessary stuff with it. I don't go to the extreme and forget my logins like Callum. I'm still logged into it. But I just forget to make changes. And I think that's probably why I drifted off, because at one point I was up there with Dave and someone else. And then I probably just forgot to make changes. And then as a result, I've dropped down the league. But yeah, I'll probably have a look at it tonight and make some changes and maybe put someone in. The thing is, I made a big sacrifice at one point and took Haaland out.
Yeah, I did, and then brought it back in.
I didn't want to be because like everyone had him, so then nobody was gaining any points on anyone. So I thought I'd try and be edgy, and I got rid of Haaland, and as a result, I managed to get Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So it was okay for a bit, but yeah, I've kind of lost track of it, to be fair, mate.
Here's some FPL advice for you, for all of you. Game week 29 is a massive blank. Loads of teams don't play, so if you still have a wild card, play your team, which basically means that all the way up until game week 29, just get in players who are going to play in 29, and then wild card out of it in game week 30 and get the team you want.
It's good advice. Someone like me has already used their wild card. I don't know why. But I seem cursed, right? Because everything I've done this weekend, players are brought in. Pinnock, Adebayo, Jota, all three were brought in this week. All three in total cost 12 points. And every time in the Spurs stadium, I found out that Jota was injured, and this was like his curse. But next week, obviously, we're out a lot of teams playing. I've already apparently made 37 points or something in transfers in this week. I don't know how. Play with it too much, but it's frustrating. I'm going to log out at some point, but I wouldn't recommend
37 points in transfers.
Yeah.
What?
I know. I don't believe it either. Apparently, I don't know what I do. Let's have a look. Yeah, so this week alone, I thought it was really clever. Well, I'm not, because I bought in Adebayo. I was like, yes, double game week. And I'll even listen to, I thought it'd be really clever. I'm going to listen to the Fantasy Premier League podcast and become an expert. So I listened to the first episode. Oh, you need to bring Adebayo in. I was like, yes, I'll do that. And I listened to another one. You should bring Ethan Pinnock in. Yes, done that. And I just felt confident with that. I thought, yes, I'm going to bring Jota in. I'm going to bring Haaland in for the double game week. Just makes so much sense. Jota, bring Saliba in. That was the only one that did work. It just failed. I've got a load of twos, load of zeros. Then my bench has got nothing.
I'll expect some messages from you on Thursday, Harry, to see for some advice, mate.
Yeah, no, it won't be coming from me.
At my door. I'm going for more trophies than Tottenham. Put it that way.
Wow, there you go. It's bold. I've already got like 3-4 players in my team that don't even play next week. I'm not going to change it because too many points in transfers. I'm just going to have to rely on some to.
You can't afford to
kind of.
Yeah.
But Callum has to jump. So Callum, thank you much for joining. I typically think it's just he can't cope with the fact he's bottom of pretty much every league. But thank you very much for coming on, Callum. Where can people find you?
Cheers, boys. As always, at CallumSubs97 on Twitter. And I hopefully maybe on next week. I know we ain't got a game week, but we'll probably discuss some shit or other. And if H is in charge, God help us all.
Yeah. I've got a jump as well.
Go for it, Dave. Where can people find you?
At Park Lane Pod Dave, or just tweet us at the podcast at Park Lane Pod. More importantly, get over to Manscaped, get that Park Lane Pod code, get yourself 20% off. You help the channel out. Subscribe to the channel. Follow all these boys because they're all brilliant, every single one of them. And I'll be hopefully back next week to either bore you to sleep or entertain you some more. But yeah, love from me. I'll see you all soon.
Thank you. And last but not least, Winnie, where can people find you?
Yeah, Winnie1991 on Twitter. I've still not got the power of the Park Lane Pod Twitter again just yet. But yeah, hopefully soon.
Nor have I.
Is it just me?
It is. It's just you, Dave. Me and H aren't trusted just yet. No. I also want to say, obviously, there was a bit of love at the start for the stream that we did on Tuesday with the pro clubs on the for that one.
It certainly was.
It is back again Tuesday. I'm grateful to say. So it'll be the same again.
Can I add to that, Winnie?
Yeah.
Not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, I will be joining that.
There we go then. So there's an exclusive for you all as well. So Dave will be joining the Tuesday after next. But yeah, so this Tuesday, 8:00 live. Check it out. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And remember to go check out Manscaped as well. We're proud to have them on board. If you want to follow me, you can there, Harry Scarf 22. Most importantly, follow all these guys here. Callum's already jumped early. There we go. If you are listening on any other podcast platform, don't forget to give us a follow and 5-star review. If you want to, go check out my channel, Scarfy Spurs Talk, match day vlogs, match previews, instant match reactions, and match reaction show Monday, 8 p.m. Bringing on big guests tomorrow. Also, I'm on Holly Hotspurs. Tuesday, I'm on John Sinclair's channel. I'm on a couple of other Spurs podcasts throughout the week, so it's going to be quite exciting. It's going to be bold, but as we always say, up the Spurs.
Just really quickly as well,
Go for it.
Before you press that button, follow us on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok. Get them like buttons on TikTok as well. We love all the interaction from all of you guys and everyone in the chat today. Thank you for joining in.
Love that, Dave.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Don't mind you interrupting when it's something good, Dave. It was going to be a little dig about Hoiberg, but luckily it's not. But as we always say, guys, up the Spurs.
Come on.